Breaking Dawn by Stephanie Meyer. Chapter 9. Sure as hell didn't see that one coming. I didn't really plan to say goodbye to my father. After all, one quick call to Sam and the game will be up. They had to cut me off and push me back. Probably tried to make me angry or even hurt me. Somehow forced me to face so that Sam could lay down a new law. Billy was expecting me, and knowing I'd be in some kind of state. He was in the yard, just sitting there in his wheelchair with his eyes right on the spot where I came through the trees. I saw him judge my direction, headed straight past the house to my homemade garage. Got a minute, Jake? I skidded to a stop. I looked at him and then towards the garage. Come on, kid, at least help me inside. I gritted my teeth but decided that it'd be more likely to cause trouble with Sam if I didn't lie to him for a few minutes. Since when do you need help, old man? He laughed his rumbling laugh. My arms are tired. I pushed myself all the way here from Sue's. It's downhill. You coasted the whole way. I rolled his chair up the little ramp I'd made for him and into the living room. Caught me. Think I got up to about 30 miles per hour. It was great. You're going to wreck that chair, you know, and then you'll be dragging yourself around by your elbows. Not a chance. It's your job to carry me. You won't be going many places. Billy put his hands on the wheels and steered himself to the fridge. Any food left? You got me. Paul was here all day, though, so probably not. Billy sighed. Have to start hiding the groceries if we're going to avoid starvation. Tell Roger to go stay at his place. Billy's joking tone vanished and his eyes got soft. We've only had her home for a few weeks. First time she's been here in a long time. It's hard. The girls are older than you when your mum passed. They had more trouble being in this house. I know. Rebecca hadn't been home once since she got married. They should have a good excuse. Plane tickets from Hawaii were pretty pricey. Washington State was close enough that Rachel didn't have the same defence. She'd taken classes straight through the summer semesters, working double shifts over the holidays at some cafe on campus. If it hadn't been for Paul, she probably would have taken off again, real quick. Maybe that's why Billy wouldn't kick him out. Well, I'm going to work on some stuff. I started with the back door. Wait up, Jake. Aren't you going to tell me what happened? Do I have to call Stan for an update? I stood with my back to him, hiding my face. Nothing happened. Sam's giving him a bye. Guess we're all just a bunch of leech lovers now. Jake, I don't want to talk about it. Are you leaving, son? The room was quiet for a long time while I decided how to say it. Rachel can have her room back. I know she hates that air mattress. She'd rather sleep on the floor than lose you. So would I. I snorted. Jacob, please. If you need a break, I'll take it. But not so long again. Come back. Maybe. Maybe my gig will be weddings. Make a camo at Sam's, then Rachel's, then Jared and Kim might come first, so probably ought to have a suit or something. Jake, look at me. I turned around slowly. What? He stared into my eyes for a long minute. Where are you going? I don't really have a specific place in mind. He cocked his head down to the side and then his eyes narrowed. Don't you? We stared each other down. The seconds ticked by. Jacob, he said, his voice was strained. Jacob, don't. It's not worth it. I don't know what you're talking about. Leave Bella and the Collins be. Sam is right. I stared at him for a second and then I crossed the room in 2 long strides. I grabbed the phone, disconnected the cable from the box and the jack. I wadded the grey cord up in the palm of my hand. Bye, Dad. Jake, wait, he called after me, but I was out the door running. The motorcycle wasn't as fast as running, but it was more discreet. I wondered how long it would take Billy to wheel himself down to the store and get someone on the phone who could get a message to Sam. I bet Sam was still in his wolf form. The problem would be if Paul came back to our place any time soon. He could phase in a second and let Sam know what I was doing. I wasn't going to worry about it. I'd go as fast as I could, and if they caught me, I'd deal with that when I had to. I kicked the bike to life and was racing down the muddy lane. I didn't look back past me as I passed the house. The highway was busy with tourist traffic. I was in and out of the cars, only a bunch of honks and a few fingers. I took the turn onto the 101 at 70, not bothering to look. I had to ride the line for a minute to avoid getting smeared by a minivan. Not that it would have killed me, but it would have slowed me down. Broken bones, the big ones at least. Took days to heal completely. But I had to good cause, you know. Dunno. The freeway cleared up a little, and I pushed the bike to 80. I didn't touch the brake until I was close to the narrow drive. I figured it was clear. I was in the clear then. Sam wouldn't come this far to stop me. It was too late. It wasn't till that moment, when I was sure I'd made it, that I started to think about what exactly I was going to do now. I slowed down to 20, making the twist through the trees more carefully than I needed to. I knew they would hear me coming, bike or no bike, so surprise was out. There was no way to disguise my intentions. Edward would hear my plan as soon as I was close enough. Maybe he already could. But I thought this would still work out, because I had his ego on my side. He'd want me to fight alone. So I just walk in, see Sam's precious evidence for myself, then challenge Edward to a duel. I snorted. Parasite will probably get some kick out of the atrix of it. When I finished with him, I could take down as many of the rest of them as I could before they got me. I wonder if Sam would consider my death privation. Probably say what I deserved. He wouldn't want to offend his bloodsucker BFFs. The drive opened up onto the meadow, and the smell hit me like a rotten tomato to the face. Ugh, reeking vampires. My stomach started churning. The stench would be hard to take this way, but undiagnosable scent of humans as it had been the other time I'd come here. They're not as bad as smelling it through my wolf nose. I wasn't sure what to expect, but there was no sign of life around the big white crypt. Of course they knew I was here. I cut the engine and listened to the quiet. Now I could hear tense, angry murmurs from the other side of the wide double doors. Someone was home. I heard my name and I smiled, happy to think I scored in a little stress. I took one big gulp of air, as if it would be any worse inside, and leaped up the porch stairs in one bound. The door opened before my fist touched it, and the doctor stood in the frame, his eyes grave. "Hello, Jacob," he said, calmer than I would have expected. "How are you?" I took a deep breath through my mouth. The reek pouring through the door was overpowering. I was disappointed it was Carla who had answered. I'd rather Edward had come through the door, fangs out. Carla was just human or something. Maybe it was the house calls he made me last spring when I got busted up, but it made me uncomfortable to look into his face and know that I was planning to kill him if I could. "I heard Bella made it back alive," I said. Jacob, it's not really the best time." The doctor seemed uncomfortable too, but not in the way I expected. "Could we do this later?" I stared at him dumbfounded. He was asking me to postpone the death match for a more convenient time. Then I heard Bella's voice, cracked and rough, and I couldn't think about anything else. "Why not?" she asked someone. "Are we keeping secrets from Jacob too? What's the point?" Her voice was not what I was expecting. I tried to remember the voices of the young vampires we fought in the spring, but all I registered was snarling. Maybe those newborns hadn't had the piercing, ringing sound of older ones either. Maybe only vampires sounded hoarse. "Come in, please, Jacob," Bella croaked more loudly. Carlyle's eyes tightened. I wondered if Bella was thirsty. My eyes narrowed too. "Excuse me," I said to the doctor as I stepped around him. It was hard, yet all went against my instincts to turn my back to one of them. Not impossible, though. If there was such a thing as a safe vampire, it was the strangely gentle leader. I was staying away from Carlyle when the fight started. There was enough of them to kill without including him. I sidestepped into the house, keeping my back to the wall. My eyes swept the room. It was unfamiliar. The last time I had been in here it had all been done up for a party. Everything was bright and pale now, including the 6 vampires standing in a group by the white sofa. They were all here, all together, but that's not what froze me when I stood where I stood and had my jaw dropping to the floor. It was Edward. It was the expression on his face. I'd seen him angry, and I'd seen him arrogant, and once I'd seen him in pain, but this was beyond agony. His eyes were half crazed. He didn't look up to glare at me. He stared down at the couch beside him with an expression like someone had lit him on fire. His hands were rigid claws at his side. I couldn't even enjoy his anguish. I could only think of one thing that would make him look like that, and my eyes followed his. I saw at the same moment I caught her scent. Her warm, clean, human scent. Bella was half hidden behind the arm of the sofa, curled up in a loose fetal position, her arms wrapped round her knees. For a long second I could see nothing except that she was still the Bella I loved, her skin still a pale, soft, pale peach, her eyes still the same chocolate brown. My heart thudded a strange, broken meter, and I wondered if this was just some lying dream I was about to wake up from. Then I really saw her. There were deep circles under her eyes, dark circles that jumped up because her face was all haggard. Was she thinner? Her skin seemed tight, like her cheekbones might break right through it. Most of her dark hair was pulled away from her face into a messy knot, but a few strands stuck limply to her forehead and neck, to the sheen of sweat that covered her skin. There was something about her fingers and wrists that looked so fragile and scary. She was sick. Very sick.